This is the House of Parliament where men and women have sat for decades, making decisions that would affect all our lives. Do they really work in the interests of the people or themselves? They sit at the round tables, trying to decipher which way to turn. Is it left or is it right? Have the people benefited from those decisions? Our people have suffered for far too long. Change should not be a figment of the imagination, but reality. Every boy, every girl, every man, every woman are equally important. The market vendor joyfully sells her produce. The fish vendor skillfully uses his cutlass to cut the fish. Keep on working. Let your smile be your motivation. Build a community of brotherly and sisterly love. Don't give up on your dreams. Surround yourself with positive thinkers. Think big and keep on moving. Keep pushing the envelope. Yes, push that envelope until you have succeeded. You may have made many mistakes, but that is no reason to stop. Don't you dare give up. Get ready for that overflow. Get ready for that breakthrough. The overflow is coming. Showers of blessings. Stay cool. Stay calm. Stay collective. Ride the rough waves of life. Hold on to that rope tightly. Just keep working. Keep moving. Keep believing. Self-motivation. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Lies and Deceit. Are you ready for an exciting show tonight? I have a special guest, and we are going to have some fun. We are going to discuss, and it's going to be a very interesting show. I know many of you did enjoy the show on Monday. Now we are here tonight because my guest could not have made it on Tuesday, so I am very flexible, and in this world you have to be flexible. So we are going to have a very interesting show. Share the live and tag your friends. Now I know some people say the show starts at 8:30, yes, but we have a countdown, so you know the countdown is usually 7 minutes before showtime. So, you know, it should be your little buzz to know that so is coming on. It has been a very interesting week. It has been a week where, well, it is only Wednesday. And to me, personally, I feel like the whole week has gone. So much has happened. And it really saddens me. It really saddens me that our country has taken a nosedive. As I have always said, it is okay for one to win and for one to lose. It is okay. I have always said that. However, there is a culture in our country, especially in the highest office, where parliamentarians believe it is their God-given right to be very disrespectful and to behave in such a classy manner. I have never, in my 52 years on this earth, well, from the time I started to follow politics and understand politics as a teenager, I have never seen such vile behavior. And our country right now is experiencing an all-time increase in crime. When the criminals sit and look at what is happening in our House of Parliament, what do you expect them to do? Do you expect them to be able to resolve issues amicably? Excuse me. I remember the days where politicians would be in the house, they would have a go at each other, but there was not this hatred, there was not this animosity and this vile behavior. Yet, this is the saying where we all used to say, forget the politicians when they argue, they all are friends. In the past, this was true when they used to argue and quarrel with each other in the House of Assembly. When they left, they were all friends. They were all friends, having a drink, having dinner, having something to eat. And it is okay. However, what we have right now, I can't even place a word on it. When my 17-year-old son says to me, Mommy, did this really happen in the House of Parliament? And I had to say yes. It means our country is in serious, serious, serious trouble. What is happening to Saint Lucia? And, it was not an aha moment for me because I always knew how the Labour Party supporters and a Labour Party government behaves. It is sad, it is very sad that we have come to this. It is very sad that we do not have men and women of valor anymore. And when a child is asking you if this is what is happening in the House of Parliament and you say yes, our crime rate is so high. Our crime rate is so high. So basically, the behavior of the men and women in the House of Parliament, they are actually saying to the men out there, the women out there, the children out there, it's okay not to solve issues amicably with anybody. It's okay to curse them out, as you have seen, where a minister of government, Richard Frederick, cursed me out. And it was okay to the Prime Minister of Saint Lucia and the rest of his cabinet. Yesterday, we saw it was okay for Stevenson King to curse out Alan Chasney. And we saw the bad behavior of Richard Frederick, what he said at the end and how he treated Alan Chasney. Imagine you may be in sports. You have your rival in sports, right? But your competitor always looks at you as a friend. This is good sportsmanship. Your competitor always looks at you as, this is my friend, this is my friend. Despite when it's competition, you have your game face on. However, I have asked Mrs. Belrose to speak to us. But before we do that, I have to wish Natalia belated happy birthday wishes. Yesterday was her birthday. She turned sweet 54. She was not ashamed to tell me her age because she looks so great. She looks so fantastic. And let us wish Natalia happy birthday. Okay, you see this beautiful woman. I tell you, we aging like fine wine. 54 years old. 54 years old. Natalia and Maynard, I would love to say to you, belated birthday greetings, and hope you had a wonderful, 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 wonderful day. Okay, and you continue enjoying it because you should enjoy it until the last day of February. And I always have to say thank you to so many of you. Marilee sent me coffee, Sherry on behalf of her mom, Natalia, Arnold, Melly, Donna, Elsie. Let me just reload my screen so I can get all the new ones. And because I saw them, Donna, Margaret, and I want to thank you for all the coffees. Doris, thank you, sweetie. Thank you for all the coffees. Now, my people, I know I'm getting messages to block some people after the live if I see them, because, we're very focused tonight. We're on a mission to ensure that our country remains above board, right? Let me just get this thing sorted out here, right? And we are here to ensure that our country remains above board. And we are going to get right down to business. Share the live, tag your friends. And I know many of you enjoyed the last show about polyamory and polygamy, whatever they call it. And it was different because our life is not, in our everyday life, we see politics in it, right? In relationships, in everything. So we have to digress and sometimes speak about other stuff. So, my people, allow me to introduce you to my guests. Let us welcome this fantastic, phenomenal, share the live, tag other women to come and let's wrap. We're going to speak on many issues, and we would like to say welcome to Mrs. Fortuna Belrose. She is a former Minister of Government, a sportswoman, and a mother, grandmother, and all the accolades you want to give to her. So I just want to say welcome, Fortuna, and the floor is yours to greet my people.
Thank you very much, so for having me on the program tonight. I want to say, of course, welcome to all the visitors, all the viewers, and your fan base, and thank you for this invitation to be here with you this evening. I know, like you said, it's a tough time for our country, and of course, we are going through many changes, and we just recently saw the change in government, and of course, the issue is the society is adjusting to the change, and whether it's a change for the better, that's still left to be seen, because we're still tallying all the facts, putting things together. I think I love the point that you started on with respect to the sports, and sports is a contest, between two groups, and when you look at a contest, what you have is people competing, and of course, when you're in the mode and preparation for competition, you're dealing with the enemy, you understand, so you're preparing for the enemy. But once that contest is over, you have to stand up and show respect, and hold hands and shake hands and do everything to say it is over. It's time to move on. It is over. And that is what it is all about. And I think for all the young people in our society who play sport, this is what how they should see life. You have to fight for things, you have to compete for things, but when you get it, with respect, admiration, love, you name it, you understand, you look to move to the next level. And this is what should exist in our society, and this is what we want to see people who have achieved the highest levels display in our society.
Yeah, this is such a critical point, because if you really want to see a disciplined individual, as you were and my sons were, swimmers, sports people usually are very disciplined because they know the time, yes, they know the effort, they know everything they have to put into it in order to be great. You may not come first or second, but at least you gave it your best. Now, best shot, right. Now, Mrs. Belrose, you have been out of government for the past 6 months. Just tell us how you are dealing with this, because you were always busy on the go, being a minister of government. So just let us know, what is life like now for you?
Well, I've always been somebody who lived in the fast lane. And so
I know that.
Now yes. I'm slowing down a bit, and up to just last week, my children were here from the US, and so I was still very busy. But yes, in terms of the government service, I've moved out of it, and I'm still winning people that I am no longer in government. Because I think what I sought to do when I was in government was to be the type of person that any citizen could have met and inquire on where we can get services, how we can get services, what we can get done. And I've left for 6 months, and that follows me. It has followed me. And I still continue to do that because it's my country.
Exactly.
And we want our citizens to understand where things are in the scheme of
Yes,
things.
yes.
And so we have a responsibility not to say that government I don't know, but to tell them where to go and where to put the pressure on the government, to make sure our society gets better. I think that is the responsibility that we all have as citizens. And so as a citizen, I continue to do what I do in terms of guiding, protecting our country's reputation. I continue to give voluntary service in my organizations.
Yes.
So life is slower insofar as the government works.
Yes,
But
yes.
insofar as contributing as a citizen, I still try to give wherever I can, you understand, for the benefit of my country. That's my responsibility. And that is what I hope that every Saint Lucian would do. Find that place in your community, in your constituency, in the country that you can contribute. In much the same way that you are contributing through this forum, through this medium that you have, to make a difference. I think people, every one of us, was born with that gift in society
Exactly.
to be able to find that one thing that we're good
Exactly.
at to be able to make it happen. So that's where I am, and I'm still working and giving as much as I can. Of course, I have aging parents as well,
Yes.
and so I find myself dealing with issues of aging parents, and so manage it. Thank God the kids are all out of the house, so it makes it easy for me, you understand, to give my time, to 3 seniors that I have responsibility to care for.
And that is awesome. You said something about not because you are no longer in government that you cannot contribute and help others. Now, I think that is an issue we have in this country. Oh, I'm not in government again, but I cannot direct you. I cannot tell you who to go to, where to go to for you to get services. And this is very important that you still avail yourself to people, being a private citizen and assisting them. This is wonderful. This is wonderful, wonderful. And I know your mom very well because,
Yes.
Baptist church, my parents are Baptists, I know your parents very well. So it's not like we don't know each other.
Yeah.
But I have to ask you a question, Mrs. Belrose. Walk me through, like, a normal day when you were in government. Walk me through how a cabinet meeting goes.
Well, a cabinet meeting, I think we met every, I can't even remember if it's on Monday or Thursday at this point in time. But we met once a week. And of course, to meet once a week, it would mean that your papers for cabinet would have to come to you, in good time. So you would review them and would be able to contribute when the discussion time came. It was really the most exciting part, to be honest with you, of the work, because there you got to hear the different viewpoints, the different versions, the different understandings. You understand of what is being presented. And so for me, that was a great time because I also got the chance now to, because I don't see myself as a politician. I don't know, but so it was really good now to be in an environment to listen to more seasoned politicians.
Yes.
You understand? And how they articulate and how they respond to things, and how they interpret, understand, certain things that came through. So it was an interesting period. It was an exciting period. And it was a period where people didn't let up. If there was an issue on your chest, you had to belt it out. That was the environment that we were in. People spoke their mind.
Exactly.
If you were not happy with something, you spoke your mind. You don't
exactly.
sit there and you're vexed. That's not how it is. We are grown men and women.
Exactly.
We understand that we have to do work for the society, and we all spoke our mind freely. You understand, without any interference. At all.
Okay, because the reason why I ask you that, and I like the point you made about people speak freely, and whatever was on his or her chest, that they would let it out. So I am a bit amazed that with the scathing attack that was launched at the former Prime Minister, leader of the opposition, political leader of the United Workers' Party, I was taken aback at that kind of tongue lash he received from a former prime minister and also a cabinet colleague, a minister of government. So I was kind of taken aback with all this back and forth. Walk me through, what was the relationship with Honorable Stevenson King and the other cabinet ministers and the former prime minister of Saint Lucia?
I think the relationship was excellent. I think in terms of my relationship,
in terms of, okay, like it's a team, the team relationship with you sit in cabinet, the team relationship with Stevenson King, how it augured, how did it look?
Well, the team was okay. I don't think there was ever a time that anybody had any issue they were not able to vent, which is what I'm saying. I was taken aback with Mr. King as well. I think Mr. King is a man that I always admire, and he knows that. When I came into the politics in 2016, I think he was the first minister I went to, because my mom says, seeking pardon.
Yes.
In 2016. So I went to see Mr. King, and I think he was very honest with me at the time. And I still believe he'll be honest with me. He said to me, Fortuna, I'm thinking of leaving politics and you're coming in now. And so I think, he was always in the frame of mind to depart from the politics. But when you're a politician, sometimes things get in the way. You're passionate about certain issues and you figure that you should stay on until you get what you want. You understand the satisfaction that you want. That's how the mindset of the politician is. And so I think he stayed on. He worked with us. I didn't see any issues. I saw my Prime Minister, Alan Shastney, leading the government, leading the issues, open at the table. Anybody speaks. Anybody gets the issue off the chest and move on. There was never a time that nobody could speak. You only could not speak if you couldn't make your point.
Exactly.
Or if you were not able to articulate your point or didn't have enough substance on that point to make it known. So for my part, I was very much surprised. As a Saint Lucian, a patriot, I think that my Prime Minister did justice. You understand, to leading the team. And it's unfortunate that we lost because of those issues. Because I personally believe had King not done what he did, the United Workers' Party would have won the government. I would have beaten Mr. Pierre for sure.
Yes, you would.
I think so. But I think he had his own agenda, and so he chose to do what he felt he had to do. I don't know to what end, but we lost the elections, and suffice it to say we've lost. But I think all of us have understood that we lost, and there is need to give the government time to do the work that it's doing. But I think for me, in terms of watching what the government is doing, there's so many things that have gone wrong in the last 6 months. And I really hope that they would improve and get it better. Now, I am the deputy chair of the United Workers' Party. So my responsibility for...
Okay, just Miss Belrose, let me just cut you a little. Just lean a little more into your mic, because some of the viewers are saying it's...
Are you hearing me?
Yes, just lean into it more so we can hear you. Yes.
Okay, so you hear me now?
Yeah, go, just lean into it. Just lean into it and it's fine. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so is that good? Okay, all right.
Yeah, lean into it.
I think I lost my... Yes, So I lost my train of thought here, but basically what I'm saying is we all had the opportunity, you understand, to express our views, express how we felt about things. If we saw things were not right, we would make that point, you understand. The PM would look at it with everybody and then we would make a decision. You would not leave that office and you've been disappointed with the decision that is made because you have the benefit of all these experts around the table, you understand, to assist in making that decision.
Let me just bring you back. Let me just bring you back to what you were saying. Yeah. You were saying had he not done that, you would not have lost the election. So I don't know if you remember your train of thought.
Yes, absolutely. Because I think the United Workers' Party was on a roll. The people of Castries we have done some great work with them in the 5 years. And not work in terms of major projects, but working on the mindsets, trying to get them to understand where things are in terms of services within government, having confidence in themselves, being able to earn their own money, you understand, to be able to stand up for themselves. Yes. A group of vulnerable people who are unemployed, And our office and our arms were always open to receive people. And I think that is when you hear the parliamentary rep for Castries, he speaks. You hear he speaks, but he's not negative about me. I think basically he would refer people to me, to be honest with you. And
Wow.
so people came, yes, I think it's good. And people came, looking for support, looking for services. And even now they come, but now I refer them back. You
Right,
understand? To
right,
his office,
right.
which is what needs to be done. So
Yes.
so for me, I had a great stint in there, and I want to believe that we impacted some lives in the constituency. And I just hope that we can see the level of development, given the fact that he's the prime minister. You understand,
Yes,
to assist
yes.
and transform that community in the way it's supposed to be. Because I would hate it to be after 5 years. You understand?
Yeah.
Nothing has changed.
Now
In that
let
community.
me
He
ask
has a
you.
responsibility.
He has a responsibility, but
Yes.
I cannot be too kind to Philip J. Pierre because he has been in that constituency for the past 25 to 30 years. And I believe
Yes.
more should have been done. You, as a prospective or were a prospective MP
Perspective.
for Castries East, what are some of the things you saw that needed to be done?
Yeah, I think one of the fundamental things that needed to be done was the opportunity to educate people or create the awareness among people that life can be better. You understand? Life can
Right.
be better. We can do it better if we just prepare ourselves, we receive the training, we embrace different ideas. There is that opportunity for us to grow and learn and become involved. Too
Yes.
many people were just shut in and not prepared to go the extra mile. We were able to push them, you understand, in that direction. So now a lot of them, and I feel so good when I get people calling me for references for these young people, seeking jobs and getting jobs. And I will
Right.
put my hands 100% behind them because I know some of them understood, that it is not just about waiting for handouts, but it's
No.
about going out and earning on your own and demonstrating your capability to be able to survive for the long term and not the $5 can block a whole shop too.
Exactly. And this is what I believe Saint Lucians had a problem with. They didn't understand the philosophy of
Yeah.
self-empowerment, empowering
Empowerment.
yourself so you don't depend on government or anybody
Right.
for money. And when you say to me
Yes.
$5 can block a hole, it is really untrue because you are a
Yeah.
mother, you go to the supermarket like I do, and the prices
That's
have
right.
increased. Now,
Absolutely.
I remember there was a time when the now Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierre, when he was in opposition, he said he doesn't go to the supermarket. I have met Kenny Anthony in the supermarket at Cul-de-sac, right? I have not met Chas, right? But at least a former prime minister under the SLP administration have been in the supermarket and know what we as citizens go through. However,
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
have a current prime minister in Philip JPS saying he doesn't go to the supermarket, explain to me, how can this individual relate to the common man, the Malawi, when you have $20 in your hand and you have to stretch it to find out, what am I going to get for my children? But I say all this to say, it has been 6 months and there has not been any support, financial support, income support for the Malaways they claim they love. The Malaways they said when we get in there, we would, and all kind of foolishness. We would give you $500, we'll give you $1,500. What do you think went wrong in them not giving or keeping their promises?
Well, they were politicians looking to get in office. And that's how it is. They sang the song where the people were most vulnerable. People wanted work. People wanted money. People wanted to be able to do things. COVID prevented that from happening. But in their minds, a lot of their minds too, even the COVID thing, was questionable. The COVID virus was questionable. And so people were gullible, people were vulnerable, and so they just preyed on the vulnerabilities, of people with their political campaign. We'll put you first, we'll give you money, roads will not feed, roads cannot...
You cannot eat roads, yes,
You
yes.
cannot eat roads. And so a lot of old garbage and gibberish, that really maybe we should have spent time to look after. But I was for me, it was more important to be on the road with the people, teaching them life skills, as
Exactly,
opposed to, you
exactly,
understand, focusing
exactly.
on the pettiness,
Exactly.
of
Now,
the
now
economy.
this is what I love, because if
Yeah,
you are going to be a minister of government or somebody representing a constituency, you have to come with ideas. You have to have vision. Now,
right.
especially what is happening now, we are seeing, and I have to go to you. I watched you at a UWP press conference, and you literally broke down in terms of, you felt the pain of COVID.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
affected you, it affected your family, you felt it. What was going through your mind at that time? Just let us know, because people need to realize that COVID is real and it affects all of us financially. It takes away our loved ones from us. So just let me know, let the viewers know what was going through your head, because we all as women felt touched. We dropped a tear, we felt so emotional. This was such a touching speech.
Yeah. Well, I think it goes back to the point again on the vulnerabilities. You had a government that was in office, which was our government, working hard to ensure that we created the environment for our country to continue to thrive. Because it's not just about doing the short term things, but you also have to look at the long term. And I think that's where, for me, Alan Chasday was exceptional in terms of that envisioning and seeing the
Yes,
future.
yes, yes.
And when you look at the success of the tourism industry up to this point, it was really his vision
It
and
was.
what he was seeing,
Yes,
and how he was responding to the situations at hand, which made
exactly.
us still very buoyant with the tourism industry up
Yes.
until perhaps this month or last month. And so, for me now, when I see nothing is happening by way of engagements, and looking at the tourism industry and what is required to push it through the next 7, 8, 9, 10 months, which really should have happened, 6, 7 months ago, it is concerning. So I think, for me, the visioning is what I saw our party doing, and of course, working the systems to ensure that later on many people would be employed, as opposed to just a little bit, or just a few at this point in time. So I think
Right,
solutions
right.
misunderstood the
Yes,
message, and
yes.
that's why I always go back to the point that, if a people don't buy into the vision, it's very difficult for them, you understand,
Yes.
to understand where you are going, and for them to appreciate where you're going. And I'll continue to make that point despite the mockery they have made, you
Yeah.
understand, of that message. People must understand what it is that you're doing for them. Once they understand what it is you're doing, they're in a better place, you understand, or they're a better position to be able to work with you and see through, you understand, with you
Right.
what it is you're doing, to support them. So that is my point, and I
Excuse
will
me.
always maintain that. There was nothing wrong with that. The politicians have spun it all around because they want to be cheap cook and bottle washer. But you
Right,
need
right.
people to be on board with you when you're
Exactly.
making hard decisions with respect to moving the country along.
You
And I
are
think to some
absolutely
extent, we
correct.
were not able to get that message way down, you understand,
No.
to the ground so that people could have bought it. I think
So,
that was one
so
of the fundamental weaknesses,
fundamental
and it's
issues,
something that we
yes.
know we have to work. Yes, yes,
Yes, and,
yes.
and, and, and this is something I have been preaching. So, moving forward, I'm hoping, I'm not going to ask you for your strategy, but I am hoping that the United Workers' Party, they are going to bring their message to the ground. Because what happened in the 2021 July election and the campaign season, what happened is that the message of Chasney must go. Chasney is a white man, and the hatred cooked in the minds of Saint Lucians, whereas Saint Lucians did not realize that tourism was declining. We lost over $400 million in tourist dollars. And what Alan Chasney did, instead of leaving people hungry, because many people, there's one of my supporters who said to me, so I lost my job, and it is only because Alan Chasney started those road projects I was able to get a job, I was able to pay my bills, I was able to do something. So the idea of saying people don't eat roads was very ridiculous. People not eating roads, that was just foolish. But what it did, it was providing finances for a family. It was allowing that family to go to the supermarket to shop. It was allowing that shop owner to stay open. It was allowing that shop owner to pay their staff. It was allowing that shop owner to also allow other people, like for instance, charity, help others. Because if the shop owner is not getting money, how can that shop owner keep their staff? So explain to us, just explain to us, you know, it must have been very tough on the Prime Minister. It must have been very tough on you as cabinet ministers, losing $400 million. And for the Prime Minister to have thought, I am going to do this capital investment. I'm going to build the roads. And Alan Chastanet was indeed the visionary, and it is too soon. 6 months, and this government, the Philip J. Pierre government, has lost all the support. People are very irate with them because what Alan Chastanet did, he forgot about the criticism. What he did, he took the monies to ensure his people ate because tourism was not doing that.
Mm-hmm. And I think so. So they found a mantra: Chastanet must go.
Right.
And of course, they tagged it to the fact that this was a very hostile environment, you know, to locals. All these curfews. You know, they just worked out a whole campaign, you know, to throw the government out. And unfortunately, the people, like I said, were gullible. They were vulnerable. Many had lost their jobs.
Yes.
They couldn't find their way. The vendors couldn't get anything to sell because people were not going out. And so it was just an environment that was created and supported by language, which they use, you understand, to confuse and to fool people. But now people are coming to the reality.
Yes.
Now people are coming to the reality that this is not the case.
It's not the case.
Well,
he meant well.
Now they drive up the roads, they drive up the highway, and they see the four-lane highway. Very obvious project to be done. You understand? Unfinished. Why? Because the guys didn't understand what was happening in the country. Even the opposition themselves didn't understand the vision that was outlined for the country. Because anybody who understood the vision as outlined by Alan Chastanet would have jumped on board. And so I'm not surprised that everything you see them do over the next 3, 4, 5 months are the very same things that we were looking to do. You understand? Because they didn't have a plan. They've now come in, they've understood the environment, they've understood what needs to be done now, and so they will now be putting the systems in place to do this very same things that we had planned. You understand? For the next 15 years.
And I believe what got people upset, what got people irate, is the fact that they said they would have done better than Alan Chastanet and his government. And it is 6 months, the farmers, the fishers, the tourism workers, the vendors, many of them, right, who the previous government assisted with income support have not received a cent. And this is very, very worrisome. Now, I have a tape to play because people have to realize that you just cannot go into a House of Parliament, even if you may believe you can say whatever you want. However, I have a difficulty with the Speaker of the House because I realized when Alan Chastanet was speaking, he was always interrupted, even if when he went away from what was the bill to be debated, right? He was not given a chance to say what he was saying in relation to the bill. He was stopped. However, I realized Richard Frederick and Stevenson King and some others had a go. I need to know, is there any integrity? Is there any honor in the House of Parliament? Because a Speaker of the House supposed to be one who is impartial. Now, I say all this to say, I never saw Andy Daniel putting a flubber band, wristband, and come in and sit in the House. However, this new Speaker of the House, Claudius Francis, he prances his red band. So if this government proclaims to be a government that is all inclusive, why would you flaunt in the people's face that you have this red band and you are the Speaker of the House? I've lost all respect for the House Speaker, the Speaker of the House, and for the men and women in this parliament, because it says that no one has the gonads. No one has the gonads to say, hey, this is wrong. Even though this is my party, this is wrong, and we need to do what is right. I am going to play the tape of Stevenson King and all the little insults he was hurling at Alan Shasta. Is that what we have become? Take a look.
I heard the leader of the opposition say, action speaks louder than words. I believe I stand here and have that paramount view. Because not only in words but in deeds. Mr. Speaker, I sat in the cabinet of the last government. I sit in the cabinet of this government. And I can give you stories, Mr. Speaker, of some of my own experiences of the manner in which people were treated only because they didn't carry a yellow cloth around them. Only because they didn't carry a yellow cloth around them. I told you it's a library, I have not a book. It's a library, not a book. You know? When you speak about pulling programs from people, do not talk. Do not talk, because you are the culprit. Leave the issue of victimization out of the way, because you're a victimizer too. Leave it out. That's not your damn business. The business you have to deal with are the people who are in your party planning to take you out sooner than later. That is your business. Deal with it. Deal with that business. Deal with it. The hypocrisy will come back to haunt you. As I said, if I were on the opposite side, I would keep my mouth shut and support the government and wait my turn when I believe I have something to talk about. But you have nothing to talk about. Why are you talking? And I say the people of this country need answers to what? Answers to what? You must tell them the things you did that you gave no explanations about. Tell them the things you did, you gave no explanation. Tell us how you spent the money of this country without authority. Tell us the things you did. And like I said, it is a library, not a book. Page by page, chapter by chapter, book by book will be opened and read in the coming years. 5 years to do it. Where's the plan? You'll get the plan, don't worry. You'll get the plan. You'll get the plan too. You got one part of the plan on the 26th of July. You'll get the other part of the plan when the time comes. You think pan playing? My friend, you'll get so much plan and pan, you wonder what you did in this country. Let me say something, Mr. Speaker. The people of this country knew exactly what they're doing. They said enough is enough. Enough bluff. Enough talk. Enough, according to the flashing mirrors. That's the thing I'm looking for. That's the one I'm looking for, flashing mirrors. Enough flashing mirrors. Time for action. Time for action, and you did it on the 26th. And it's a good thing you dated the election on the 26th. Had you gone 2 weeks later, you would not have been here. And you would not have been here. Neither of y'all would have been here. Because you all would be wiped out, clean sweep. If you believe Mia's victory you would have seen it this time. That this Prime Minister may not stand up and shout like I can shout, or you can bluff. This Prime Minister is a man, when he gives you his word, you can take it and go to the bank with it. I thank you.
I personally believe after watching this, Stevenson King needs some serious counseling, some serious soul searching, because my show really is to allow people to open their thinking and start to think for themselves. Because if people are smart, they would walk back down memory lane and say, this man professed that he left the United Workers' Party because of corruption, and he is a patriot, and he is now under an umbrella as the blue wave, and he is a patriot. However, his behavior to yesterday solidify the fact that he was never a patriot or an independent candidate. He was actually part and parcel of the Saint Lucia Labour Party organization. This, in my mind, is total treachery, because if I don't agree with somebody, I cannot go and sleep with the devil, and the devil right now is the best thing that has happened to our country. So people right now, this gentleman, Stevenson King, has committed political suicide, because he is now saying to the people, I was not an independent person. I was not a patriot. I left for my own personal agenda. And this is what he did. He came in here and he tried to show the world that Alan Chasney is a devil. He was even pointing his finger. Pointing your finger at your colleague in such a high-level debate is disrespect. It shows me that Stevenson King is not refined. It shows me that he has not understood the mission. It shows me he doesn't understand how the people of Saint Lucia feels. It shows me that he himself do not watch overseas international politics, because had he known better, he would not have been pointing his hand at Alan Chasney. He would have used the Bill Clinton thumb and speak. This man is declassé in my book. This man has no standard. And to come and say these things, you sat at a cabinet meeting or in a government for 5 long years. You sat there for 5 long years. You enjoyed the big salary. You enjoyed all the perks. But while you were in there, you were plotting against a government. You are worse than a snake in my mind to do that. Because I believe if I disagree with somebody, if I was in Alan Chasney cabinet, I would tell him, boss, this is how I feel. I do not agree with you. I don't hate you, but I'm moving. But excuse me, he waited until the 11th hour, like Judas Iscariot, and stabbed his boss in his back. It is okay to leave. Nobody is saying that you cannot leave. But look at the venom. Look at the hate. Look at his posture. And he is telling Alan Chasney he has a library. However, this Stevenson King was once a former prime minister, and you are not without sin. I need to ask you, Stevenson King, I really need to ask you, why wasn't St. Jude's completed? Why wasn't St. Jude's completed when you were the one who started St. Jude's? Where was the money? What happened to the money? What did you do, Stevenson King? You have a lot to account for. I always say to my viewers, I do not come here to lie, and I will show you. The Bible tells you, be sure your sins will find you out. When you point in one finger at Alan Chasney, you have 4 more pointing at you. And I did some research, and I am going to show in a little while, after I give you a chance to talk, Mrs. Belrose, I will show the people of Saint Lucia how what he is claiming Alan Chasney is doing is because he did it. So whenever you see they come and they try to say you are the ones doing XYZ, it is only for the reason that they are the ones who did it. And it is very sad. Imagine I am I'm married to somebody, right? Things didn't go well, right? During the marriage, you had different disturbances and everything. And this individual takes your private information, just throw it out. Sometimes what they put out there is not even true. So King is showing the people of Saint Lucia he cannot be trusted, because we are not telling you to hide the sins of Alan Chasney, but you sat there for 5 years. And you were comfortable to sit there for 5 years because you did the same. And when I show you all that clip, it's going to blow your mind. It is ridiculous that people are supporting this man. This man has committed political suicide. Miss Belrose, anything you want to say to
No, well, I listened to the presentation by Mr. King. I took time to listen, twice. And of course, when I listened to him, I also observed the reaction of Honorable Alan Chasney. And I think Alan took what he was saying in stride. He actually applauded him when he made his comments, and so I don't think Alan was disturbed at all by what he said about him. I think he listened as anything else, as a man, as a sportsman. He listened, he took the information, but knows very well that he too, well, King has a library, he has an archive. So
that's right, exactly.
We worried about that.
Exactly.
Yeah. But the other thing too, in the campaign, we always knew that a vote for King was a vote for Labour.
Exactly.
And so I think when Janine took the platform, I think she made that very, very clear. Janine Chirodi, who ran against him.
Yes.
It was very clear that if he was leaving us, he wasn't leaving us to go independent. Yes, he was an independent man because in truth and fact, he had worked that constituency for quite a number of years.
Exactly.
So he was able to pull it on his own. But we always knew that once he did that, he was breaking ranks with us, you understand, to go to the Labour Party. And I felt it particularly for the people on the fringes, on the boundaries of our constituencies. A lot of these people were confused, and it is so sad, some people actually didn't go and cast their franchise because they said to me they were just confused with this whole thing. And I think he has done an injustice to the UWP. I think I was disappointed that he took so long. If you knew you wanted to leave the party, why stay and document everything and then come now and tell us, you understand, what you think we were doing that was wrong? And there was nothing wrong about what we did. There was constant engagement with every decision that was made. In the system, and I can always tell you, you have ministers, you also have permanent secretaries who are part of the process. And if a minister is not available, a permanent secretary is available to the cabinet, you understand, to discuss the issues that present themselves. So for me, I was really disappointed that he moved in the direction that he moved at the last minute, because to be honest with you, I did not see it coming, unlike perhaps other persons who knew him better than I did. Right. Saw it coming. But I think for me, I was disappointed. And I think Mr. King knows I was extremely disappointed in that decision that he made to leave the Labour Party at this point in time. And the sad thing is it has left a bitter taste in his mouth and also some of the people, you understand, within the party. But I think UWP will rise again. We are capable, we've demonstrated that. And of course, we're working to put our house in order to ensure that we can take on the reins of leadership of this country whenever elections is called.
Yeah, and what I don't like is that he said something, and I know there are many young people out there, because I myself have young people, and he said, it didn't play in that clip, but it played in the house, and he said that any scholarship application that came into cabinet and you were not yellow, you will not get in that scholarship. Is that true?
Nah, couldn't be true. Couldn't be true. I think the Ministry of Education did a very good job of making submissions to the government of Saint Lucia, to the Cabinet of Ministers. Cabinet of Ministers now would review, And of course, based on the information that is available to them from the Ministry of Education and also from within. And remember, cabinet always have that privilege, always have a privilege. So whereas the public servants would sit and present, but the final decision is that of cabinet. And I can tell you both Labour Party and UWP benefited from scholarships. And I can tell you so because I had young people from Castries, both Labour and UWP, who benefited as well. So if he was not able to make his case for the people in his constituency to get the scholarships because he was so keen on getting his library together, then but
oh my God, thanks for the laugh.
yeah. But I think we generally accepted that we worked in the best interest of the country when we did this.
I love that. Yes, I love that because, people fail to realize sometimes you're so much on your own agenda that you forget the people you are really representing.
Absolutely. And
this is what, and I myself was wondering, what are people going to do? Because when I saw he left the party at the 11th hour, I'm like, oh my God, Alan Shastney, the United Workers' Party, they are indeed in some hot water, in some trouble. You understand? And I am going to be very frank with you that I do not believe that the Saint Lucia Labour Party, led by Philip J. Pierre, had any chance of winning this election. They won because of King defecting and then Richard Frederick, the Bulldog.
Right.
Alan Shastney. However, the United Workers' Party cannot make that mistake again. I know you have been watching my show and I have been pleading that you put a PR team together because I know everybody's thankful for what Soso is doing here. However, it takes a lot of time to research and come and present the information. I personally believe had the United Workers' Party had a specific team, and in that team you need like 4 people because there are different things you would have to do concerning public relation. Public relation is not just coming and talk. You have to be knowledgeable, you have to search, you have to do this, you have to do that, and then you almost have to be like a scavenger 24/7 watching what is going on. Right now, the United Workers' Party is lacking in that area. What are the plans? Does the party, because I know you're the deputy chairwoman and I know you're no nonsense woman and a go-getter, are you looking into getting a real PR team? Because it is work and you'll have to pay, whoever you'll hire, but this is the way you're going to get your message on the ground.
All I'm saying to you, and so our party is doing what it is supposed to do, so we can regain the seat of power.
Okay, because I do not expect right. I
can't tell you what we're going to do.
Yeah, I do not expect.
But rest assured that we are doing our work, and that's why I keep saying we are doing our work. Tell them do not interfere with us. I mean, in the advent now of all the social media, and so we have a lot of people making noise for us. But come out,
like I am one, right? Oh my God! Yes, because let me tell you what I really liked. I could not have voted for the Saint Lucia Labour Party because they had no plans. When I went to the unveiling of the manifesto of the United Workers' Party, what I really liked, and what I liked about Alan Shastney, and I keep saying it to everybody, Alan Shastney, he is not a politician. This is just a man who has vision and wants to see his country move forward. However, Philip J. Pierre said that he knows how to play the politics, and I believe this is why they won, because they know how to play the politics. Now go ahead.
No, and I can tell you, I think if there's one thing you have to give Philip credit for, and for me, who was his opponent, you must give him credit. I think he understands the dynamics of the community very well, and he knows at what points he needs to come in, you understand, to do what he has to do to win. And at the point when he came to do that, Stevenson King deflected from us, and so the whole system worked, you understand, in the way that they had planned it. So it was, you must give him credit. And for me, I have no difficulty giving him credit. He's won the constituency for quite a number of years.
Right.
But I think not until the people are the majority of the people are enlightened.
Exactly. Exactly.
Exactly. Because representation is not only about election time.
Exactly.
Representation is for 5 years. It's about 5 years of being there, listening to them, hearing them, moving them from where they are to another level. You understand? Taking them to a higher place. That is what it's all about. And not just giving up on them and telling them you think I'm God and that kind of thing. You know, I think we need to clear a little more.
Exactly.
And, you know, yes, particularly when you say you're putting people first. You're not putting some people first. You're putting all people first. No matter what level they come to you at. You have to respond to them.
You must respond to them, because you cannot just say to somebody, for instance, when you want to win a seat, okay, Alan Chesney not giving you this, he not giving you that, we will. And when you enter, you are not given to them. People are very despondent right now. There is a depression in this country, and I really do not like it, because as I said, and we have spoken, you're supposed to give any government the time to work. But however, we were in a COVID environment, and to have an opposition claiming they could move the mountain, the hills, the stars for the people of Saint Lucia, and we know in ourselves that the whole world was experiencing a financial crisis. Where are you going to get the money to assist the people? Now, we had a major windfall in terms of the Public Finance Act bill. And you know, it is sad, and I realize there is a dangerous precedence being set. However, I'm thankful for the leader of the opposition and his team, who were able to realize that what they were trying to do, amend the bill. Now, you have to give credit where credit is due. Kenny Anthony is one of the most brilliant intellectual politicians we have in Saint Lucia. And I listened to him very carefully when he said, nothing else should supersede the Constitution. Why would you want to bring in an instrument, whereas the Constitution is very clear in terms of what you have to do with the bill? So can you tell my viewers and just, speak on it a little for us, please?
Well, I think the critical thing, and what my leader was trying to do, was to articulate the fact that we have to ensure that we operate within the fiscal rules, and as a small developing country, we really do not have much.
Exactly.
We depend a lot on outside help to facilitate us and help us out. And what we want to do is to show that we have the best rules when it comes to the management of our finances.
Exactly.
And there are countries that are already practicing it, countries that are similar to us, similar economies to us. And so the object is for us to operate, you understand, within that same type of, space. Mm-hmm. And so this is what my leader was trying to push. And
it's very good.
Recognized, he recognized the contribution that Alan was making.
Yes.
And I think in the end, it came through, with the recommendation. He came through with the recommendation that was supported.
Yes, because it's a dangerous precedent, because and I must salute Dr. Kenny Anthony. Let us do things. If it's in the Constitution, why are we going to do something which is against the Constitution? And I am somebody, I give Jack the jacket, and I think he was very intellectual, very brilliant yesterday, and listening to him, it really made me realize, okay, we need to fix things. It doesn't matter if it's UWP or SLP, you need to fix this and let us do well, because this is how you control the revenues, the expenditure of a country. So go ahead.
No. I was just saying, even while he was speaking, it was interesting to watch the expression on the Attorney General's face. The Prime Minister.
Yes.
All were like, whoa, what is he going to say?
I know, right? When Kenny stood up, and it's like everybody was like, Ernest, take a big gulp. Then what is he going to say? Sean gets so restless. Then you look at Philip J. Pierre. Philip J. Pierre was like in Mars. Yes, like what is Kenny going to say? And when I look at the poor Attorney General, he was there like a little mouse. What is this man coming to say? Yeah, what is
it? Was a great moment. I thought it was good.
It was a great moment. And what I love about what Kenny said to Alan Chasney, because I think Alan Chasney said, like, thanks for the advice or whatever. And Kenny, it shows wisdom with Kenny. Kenny said, I am at my age, I am willing to give advice and, help people, guidance. And I'm like, whoa, I sat there and I'm like, this is what I want to hear. Even if I may not lean towards the Saint Lucia Labour Party, but at least there is a man there who is able to say, this is my party, this is my party, but let us do things right. And I'm saying, it saddens me that we have a whole set of men in Parliament who are not willing to say, but let me tell you why Kenny said that. Let me tell you why Kenny was, anybody who's smart would know why Kenny said that. Kenny said that because he knows, number one, apart from having clout, he's well respected in St. Lucia. Don't mind if you UWP, SLP, many people respect Kenny. Okay? Internationally, he is respected. So for him to come, he actually used his clout yesterday to say what he had to say. And I do not believe any other minister who did not have a clout and reputation like Kenny would have been able to say that. They would have been able to say that.
Absolutely. They would not be able to. Kenny Anthony who could have done that. Yeah. Yeah, but we must commend Alan. And for me, let me tell you, Alan Chasney, Honorable Alan Chasney in the House is a statesman. He listens. He responds in the right way. He's not flustered.
No.
No matter how much pressure they put on him. And that's what I tell you. The man has played sport.
Exactly.
He understands what it is to take your blows.
You got to take your blows like a man. Exactly.
Got to take your blows.
Yes.
And so, and it's your ability to take those blows and to respond that makes people listen and want to be. You understand, a part of your team.
My God, that's an aha moment.
I enjoyed his behavior.
Yes.
And I just hope he can continue to do it and to be a model, you understand, for young people coming up in our society.
Let me tell you,
Alan
Chasney, this gentleman has taken so much licks. I have never seen him misbehaved. I have never seen him. Imagine after Stevenson King said all these things about him, he was clapping. He was clapping after. He was clapping. And I believe he won the battle. He won the battle. He showed the people of St. Lucia. It may be Bradley and myself in there, 15-2, but I'm able to stay composed and stay the course.
Absolutely.
I think they wanted him to run out. They wanted him to run out, but he stayed. I love Alan Chasney's demeanor.
Yeah, but you see, so I think one of the things you always have to remember is that people stay in the fight, and in Alan's case, he has a lot of ammunition still. There's a lot of
Whoa!
You understand? With Alan,
I need to bring my prime minister, my former prime minister. I need to get him up here. I need to interview the former prime minister.
There's a lot of ammunition. I mean, people, they tend to make it look like he doesn't know the people, he doesn't understand the people. But all you need, man, to understand people is a heart. You understand?
Exactly.
You need a heart.
Exactly.
You need to know and feel their pain and understand. And I'm telling you, I worked in a government and I felt that he was feeling the people's pulse. You understand? And that is why we sought to do all of those assistance programs, you understand, for farmers, for vendors, for everybody else in terms of income support. Giving it to them because we know, we understand the creative people, creating a path and a way for them, you understand, with the music and everything else. Creating an ambassadorial program that provided opportunities for citizens who can achieve abroad, and share that success, with St. Lucians. And so you need a government, you need a prime minister with a heart of gold, who feels it, who understands it, who knows it. The guy was born into St. Lucian parentage. He was born here. You understand? He understands us. He played with us. He got busted nose in the gardens. He only didn't get a broken arm, but he fought like everybody else. You understand? In the community. And you're telling me you have difficulty with the gentleman because of the color of his skin?
Exactly. This is, to me, this is so old school.
And then
go ahead.
And so let me finish with my point. And what I picked up in the house yesterday too was the Prime Minister appealing to Honorable Bradley Felix to join them for common board because he just like you. What does that mean? I don't know what it meant. And to be honest with you, if there was one time I was exceedingly disappointed in his presentation was at that point. Join us. You just like us. What does that mean? You know, I was bewildered. I couldn't understand it. Join us.
Yes, I was who
Is
us?
Join
the cabal.
What are you saying to the Saint Lucians? What are you saying to those Saint Lucians who have, you know, I just couldn't understand it. So I need him to explain what he meant.
What he meant by that. And
is it join the Labour Party?
Exactly.
Become independent like Stevenson King and join the party? What is it that he's saying to join us? And you're more like us. You know, the guy's father is a businessman.
More like, exactly.
Just like a farmer. My grandmother was a farmer. She was a businesswoman as a farmer.
Exactly.
You understand? So I don't understand what the meaning of this was. And for me, that was the worst part of the presentation. In addition to one more we'll probably come to as you go along.
Yeah. And you see, the thing I found so foolish is that we need to really, and I'm happy I'm doing these programs to elevate the thinking of St. Lucia, because one thing that caught me, you're telling Bradley to come across because you are one of us. So Alan Chasney is a white man. Take per adventure, I marry a white man. So you're gonna say my husband, who is Caucasian, is not part of me because we are different colors. You see the disrespect we endured during the campaign that Alan Chasney is a white man. Since when our country has become so racist? You know, and we as a people must stand up against that. Where are the civil organizations to say we cannot discriminate against people, right? He is not one of us. This is disrespectful.
And so I know we have a lot of Labour Party people listening, but Kenny Anthony was born of a white father and an Indian mother.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
What's his name? Our Prime Minister, Alan Chasney, was born of an Irish mother and a St. Lucian father.
Yes.
And Alan spent most of his life here in St. Lucia. He was raised with us. He played and I always remember him in the gardens playing
basketball.
You know, Jayut and this fella.
Yes.
Know, but because he was a white guy. And the interesting thing for me is that he went to school at Patterson's school in Patterson's Gap.
Right.
You know? And so, you know, so for people like me who lived in Patterson Gap area,
you would know him.
Hill, we know the guy coming to school with his father and then dropping him off in the morning. So I always try to understand that what is it about him, you understand, that is so different.
That is so different from us.
Understand us. What is it? So somebody need to put me, at my age,
exactly,
need an understanding from the Labour Party as to why is it that Alan Chasney cannot be a part of
he is part of us. He is part of us.
When he has demonstrated in all the leaders I've seen after Sir John, he is the one who has demonstrated the best capacity to be able to deliver something positive for the country.
Very true.
Explain that to me. Once they can explain it to me, then I will try to understand what they said to Bradley. But for now, I have a little difficulty understanding.
And not only that, when you hear Alan Chasney said that they used to cross the VG airport, George Charles Airport, and cross to go to the other side to the beach. You know this man has been around. You know he has been there.
Absolutely.
You know? And the
Absolutely.
sad thing,
You,
St. Lucians needed to find out who Alan Chasney was. And I believe we really need
yeah,
to do proper PR with Alan Chasney, because let me tell you,
yeah.
I really enjoyed, he did a show on Sky FM with Natoya and another young guy. And he actually told people about his life in St. Lucia. You know what I had to say?
Yeah.
Alan Chasney more Lucian than me. Hey, all the little holes, all the things he go in.
Okay, okay.
You understand? So the foolishness
Yeah,
about saying, come and join us, is not what, but what happened yesterday, Fortuna? What happened that
yeah,
really melted my heart?
yeah.
After the scathing attack on Alan Chasney, let me tell you, more people fell in love with him. More people embraced
Absolutely.
him. Let me tell you, there
Yeah,
is a lot of
yeah.
love. There's a lot of prayers going out there for him.
Absolutely.
As I said, you have won the election. Stop the campaigning. If you are only attacking a former prime minister, leader of the opposition like that, it means to
Right.
say that you do not have a plan for our country.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
And
I want, go
when
ahead.
you see, but Labour Party is a funny creature.
Yeah,
What they would do, they have already assessed Alan and see his capability. So the
exactly.
object would be to try to discourage him, dissuade him, destroy him. You understand?
No, we're
So that
with
our
him.
country can be searching for a new leader. You understand, who they will take pleasure in destroying.
In destroy.
So people
Now,
just have
Alan
to
is
read.
staying.
Yes, that's right. And if you read and if you look at Stevenson King, who was the prime minister, and the horrors he had, you understand, with the Labour Party. You telling me today this Labour Party loves you so much.
And you in bed with them?
That's why I said to them, I think Steve is singing for his supper inside of there
Yeah,
today.
yeah, I believe he's singing for his supper, because a former prime minister, a leader of the opposition, and you are at that
Yeah,
level, it says that something
yeah,
is
yeah.
wrong. And
Something is
Alan
wrong, yeah.
Chasney, let me tell you, as I've always said, and I even said it before elections, Alan Chasney has the clout to get the finances,
Yeah,
the resources that our country needs. A leader is one who can reach out. Look at
yeah,
Philip J. Pierre. They went into the house to borrow what, 9 million US dollars for renewable energy, and people still cannot pay their bills. I have people messaging me saying,
yeah.
Alan Chasney had something where he would pay $75 for the people who couldn't pay their
Yes,
bill, their water.
yes.
What has
The
gone?
bills,
Do
yeah.
you know much about that? Because people are telling me that is not going on
Well,
again.
I guess they'll bring it in the new budget and it'll look like this.
Well, you see, and
They,
this
they
is,
will bring it in the new budget
and
and it'll look like this.
like it's,
But remember, we had quite a few plans. And so what hurts me too is when I drive around town or even walk, because, I believe in walking. When you walk around town, you see these people with those sheets begging for money. You
yes,
understand?
yes.
To go and remove tumor and to do all of these things. And I'm saying, boy, I said to one lady, don't you know that had you voted for the UWP, today you would have had insurance to the tune of
Oh,
$75,000.
don't remind
So
me. I
you
want
would
to
be
cry
standing
when I
there.
hear this.
You
Don't
know,
remind
so
me.
you would not
Oh
be standing
God.
there because
I
all of
know.
these people who are begging on the sidewalk, begging for those monies, that problem could have been alleviated had they
Exactly.
voted for the UWP.
Exactly.
But again, the message did not reach them.
It didn't reach
And
them.
so
No.
Labour was able to reach, yes, Labour was able to reach, and Labour was able to reach them well with the message of hunger. You understand? And food. And so this is where we are.
And the thing about it, I think I was saying that earlier in our conversation, that when I came to the unveiling of the United Workers' Party manifesto, what I loved about Alan Chasney, and I don't like people promising me things. Don't promise me things.
Yeah.
No, I don't like
Yeah.
people promising me things. Tell me you will work and let us see how we can move forward and do X, Y, Z. And what I liked about him, he spoke about the $75,000 in medical care.
$1,000.
And many
Yeah.
people, like you rightfully said, they needed that. But then
Yes,
again,
they need it. Yeah.
they were not in tune with what he was saying. Let me show you how they were so in tune with the Saint Lucia Labour Party, what they were saying, that you had this young man making a song, Kill Alan Chasney. So that's to show you the poison, the hatred
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
out there. And that was the
Yeah.
message. But what Alan Chasney did, which is right, and I keep saying, I know you are deputy chair and you all have your stuff doing. He just needed a good PR team to have his back because he is the prime minister. And what Alan Chastanet did, he went about doing the people's business. He didn't go about méprising people. He went about doing the people's business. And this is what Saint Lucians needed to understand.
Yeah, and I can tell you that. And I think that's where there's similarities between me and Alan a lot of similarities. We grew up in different households, but the thing is, the way I was raised is that you don't add value to the negatives that people say. To give it value means to stand up and give them shuku and
exactly.
But in politics, but we learn that in politics in Saint Lucia, you have to respond to them.
You have to respond to them.
That's why I was so happy when I heard you responding to the gentleman who took you on. He did not know where you came from. So I don't think the man knew who he was dealing with.
No, he didn't. He didn't know who he was dealing with.
He didn't know.
He didn't know because my friends who know me said so. If he had known you, he would have just leave you alone.
He would just leave you alone.
Yeah, I had to take him on. The disrespect was too much. It was just too much. You understand? And we as women, we cannot allow that. And it is a shame.
Well, once I saw that, I said, food for so-so, food for so-so.
Yes, I am not taking on the little ones. I'm taking on the giants because my mission is to ensure my country is moving forward. And not all this bacchanal and not all this rural. Now, I want to show you a clip where Stevenson King, you see, I'm telling you, thank God for social media, for YouTube and everything else, because he is there giving Alan Chastanet licks yesterday, but he himself, as a former prime minister, I don't know if he got his wings yesterday because he started to gofle open himself. I was like, wait, maybe you should have been that when you were prime minister in 2006 or whenever. You understand? But I'm going to show you all a tape of him and just take a listen. You know, what he did to Alan Chastanet is just showing who he is.
The company is Holier, correct?
Holier Construction.
Holier Construction. You have plans designed for the rebuilding of that technical wing. Were these plans approved plans by the Ministry of Planning and the Development Control Authority?
Well, to answer your question, we were on the move. As to whether the Ministry of Planning or the DC had approved it, honestly, I can't tell you.
You are Minister of Finance.
I am Minister for Finance.
You're Minister of Finance and you're Minister for Economic Affairs dealing with this project.
Yeah.
The number one thing is to go into any construction project, far less a construction project of that magnitude, you are the person holding the person responsible. So the first question is, did Holier, did your ministry and the project managers have approved plans to begin construction?
Let me just say this. You have a disaster on your hands, a facility has to be built. Your friends have come forward, they've brought you a design, the design is up to international standards. PAHO, WHO were brought on board immediately, they agreed to the plans, we moved.
Are you saying you did not have approved plans?
I'm not saying that we didn't have approved plans.
I'm
telling you what I did.
Plans?
The technical details wasn't really mine. My function as Prime Minister and Minister for Finance was to get that facility off the ground. The officials within the Ministry of Finance and other departments dealt with all the details. But it is not for me to get involved in those details.
You were Minister of Finance. You were also Economic Affairs Minister. And as such, the buck started and stopped with you to ensure that the man on the ground built the wall in the correct place, the contractor above him did his job, and the project consultant was doing his job. The number one thing to have were blueprints.
The number one thing for me as Prime Minister was to get that job done. The responsibility of the technicians is to walk the footprints, walk the path that they understand must be walked. And that is the rule.
So
my responsibility is to get the job done. I put everything in place to get the job done.
Essentially, there were no plans.
Whatever.
Can somebody tag Stevenson King for me? because he said he has a library on Alan Zasney, but we have a whole archive on him. Because how can you be a minister of finance? So maybe this is why we lost the general election in 2011. You could not even handle a simple project. Well, it's not simple, it was a big project, but you did not even have the mental, intellectual capacity to oversee what was going on. You said you left it to the technocrats, you left it to the project manager, you left it to this one, you left it to that one. And yesterday you want to say you have a library on Alan Chasney. We have an archive on you. So help me understand. I cannot see a minister of finance and economic affairs, whatever it was then, would say to me that a big project like this, you just left it in the hands of the people to do. And when Dale was pressing you to ask you if you had the approval from the DCA, you skirt around it. Who is the liar now? Because you try to paint Mr. Chasney, Alan Michael Chasney, in a black light yesterday, like he was doing things underhand. Well, you as a wannabe prime minister, because we didn't elect you, you went to say, Sir John said you were supposed to be the prime minister. You all wanted to fight with each other, and all long story. You did not cut it, because had you understood finance, you would have ensured that everything was done. And I am blaming you. You are the biggest culprit in the people of the South, and by extension Saint Lucia, because sometimes you travel, you may be going to a nice hotel for the weekend, and if something happens, you want to know there is a good hospital. So you have basically affected all the people of Saint Lucia. Now, if you really want to go in St. Jude, my show Friday is going to be fire and brimstones. Let me tell you, if you want to blame Alan Chasney, and all of y'all right now who are trying to blame Alan Chasney for St. Jude's, the new hospital, all y'all had to do was to, because I've spoken to a lot of people, technical people, brilliant people, they said all y'all had to do was to go in there and fit and do what y'all have to do. But y'all want to put the people in a foul cage. When you have a foul cage mentality, this is where you're going to be. If you don't see yourself as being a millionaire, you're going to stay a pauper. So you all have the foul cage mentality, and the people, I have spoken to some staff, and they do not want to go in the foul cage. They're asking you all to complete what Alan Chasney started. So you, Stevenson King, that want to flex himself, you came and on your platforms, and even while in government, a review committee to review this, to review that, you had to eat your vomit, come back to say there was nothing wrong with those projects. But however, the roundabout project is going to sit there because they're not going to continue it, because y'all defaulted on the loan. And the other thing I have to say to Stevenson King, you are the cause we do not have St. Jude. So for all of y'all who go with the blue whale, I ain't calling it no blue wave. A blue wave, go pop a whale. A big blue whale. You are the one that put our country in this way. You are selfish. When you are a politician, you are not a politician for yourself. You are a politician for the people. Politicians are not supposed to leave government rich and wealthy. When you leave government, you live with your salary, you make your salary work for you, you invest your money, and you look to see, my neighbor who was living in a wooden house, while I was in government, I ensured that the programs, the housing programs, whatever, ensure that this person doesn't live in the house that cowering on the side, but I'm able to give them a solid structure. This is what you do when you are a minister of government. So for you to come for Alan Chasney now and say to him you have a library and you have an archive, you basically cost our country from the inception millions of dollars, and instead of the government you are with now fix it, finish the hospital, you go in for Alan Shaston, you have a library, man, sit down. Over to you, Miss Belrose.
You want me in that drama?
I don't know, you could say, well, you know.
No. Well, I think as a former public servant, the work really is for the public servants to make sure things are facilitated. As a prime minister, he has a responsibility to present the money. But I think if you want to be as thorough, and perhaps as thorough as Alan normally tries to be around his projects, is to ensure that you know what's happening along the way, all the way. And perhaps that was where the difference in the leadership style was. Alan always wanted to know where things were. In his case, he would have left it for, the technocrats to run with it. So that's a fundamental difference between the two of them.
Yes, and which is good, because I have seen, and when I will keep saying it, when you are prime minister or minister, whatever, you are not a big shot. You work for the people. And I have seen Alan Shaston in all the different projects. There are a lot of projects. I've seen him in all the projects, walking, He even came up by my home where I live. I saw him. He came and he looked at all the projects. This man was involved. He was a hands-on prime minister.
Hands-on. Yeah. And even for me in the Ministry of Culture and Creative Industries, he was hands-on. He was there. He always made his presence felt. And not just making his presence felt, people seeing as if he imposing. No, it's about connecting with what was happening, you understand, and letting people know that he too genuinely cared about what was happening, on the field of play. So I think people misread him. Labour Party painted a real negative picture.
Yeah.
But when you look at the history of our leaders, clearly you can see he was far, far above the rest. And I'm waiting to see who else will supersede what he has done. And it is now, he stands tall.
He stands tall because look, I read something where Alan Shaston was a real worker, and everything he did, he was putting it on his page. But sadly, it was clouded with the negativity given by the Saint Lucia Labour Party in opposition. Because look, right now, I think there are 3 early childhood centers which are opening, and it is as a result of him.
Of their work, yeah.
It's because of him, and he has been a worker. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just saying, and I think people must always realize that government continues. Things continue in government. So it takes one government to conceptualize it.
And want to complete it.
Might be 3 or 4, yes, And so we must recognize that. And we must recognize when it's the work of government, it's not our work as politicians. You understand? It's in the system to be done, but we want to take credit. You understand? For it,
exactly.
As politicians. So it's interesting. I mean, for me, who was a public servant and working in government and now being a politician, sometimes I have to try to balance which one. In fact, today I heard, yesterday I heard the Prime Minister talking about the public assistance program. And within that program, over the last 2 years or 3 years or so, there was a review of that program, which resulted in about 1,500 people being added to that vulnerable list.
Right.
And you heard him sort of chastise the Prime Minister for bringing in an additional 1,500. Now, mind you, that was a program funded by the World Bank, working with UNICEF, real done, and also our technical officials here. So a lot of the people in the Ministry of Equity were involved in that process of trying to ensure that they got the right people based on the criteria that was being used. And to hear the Prime Minister say, Alan Shaston, because he wanted his people in there, put 1,500, and so they cannot get the money every month to pay the people. I mean, that was a real shame.
Yeah, it is a shame. You shouldn't say that.
We need to be, it was very disappointing. And a disgrace as far as I was concerned. And I think for those public servants who worked through that program very systematically, I think it would have sent a potaste
to them, exactly,
in their minds to them with respect to the program. I don't think we should
we should not go down that road, no,
in that way, particularly when the officers, the public servants, take their time, you understand, to do work meticulously, you understand, based on formulas and prescribed formats. To be able to do these things, to try to diss it and make it look like it's not right. I think there's something inherently wrong with this, and I'm hoping he can review the tape and perhaps apologize to those persons who did.
Yes, I think he needs to apologize to them. Not only that, they are touting that they have reinstated the distress fund of $500,000, which is $500,000. But you see, this is what they are not saying to the people. During the 5 years of Honorable Alan Chastney as Prime Minister, he exceeded helping people who needed the funds, not to $500,000, which is $500,000, but to $5 million.
$5 million. That is correct. And a lot of people benefited. Even in Castries East, we had people who had fires. We were able to support them through this program. And my difficulty with him talking about creating the distress fund, and it will be in the next budget. You have a number of people who are suffering now, who had fires, and who are deprived, and who are living at the generosity of people, in people's homes.
Exactly.
And you say to them, they have to wait till
Exactly.
after your budget to help them. As a government,
You
find time, to help these people now. And you're talking about you're going to put a distress fund in. So you're putting them through all the distress and stress now to put a distress fund later on. You understand?
Exactly.
This is so sad.
It is so
the people
sad.
are in need. You provide the service now.
You
as a
provide it
government,
now.
You can do it. That's right. It can be done.
Yes.
It can be done if you want to do it. But
Yes.
say distress fund and to show you have distress fund and to politics and say distress fund. No, the people need the help now. They're in distress.
They need it
Help them.
now. Exactly. And what I love is that he removed that distress fund and he brought it into the Prime Minister's office. He did not bring the police force into his office. He brought the distress fund, meaning I have you all near to my heart. I have you all near to my chest. And he did help the people. And had Saint Lucians taken the time to understand what was being done for them, they would not have voted this part. Now everybody's messaging me, I cannot deal with this government. I voted for them. Imagine teachers are saying to me, we voted for that government, but right now it's nonsense they're doing. We're not even sure with the education system. They promised us laptops. Somebody said they took out the memory cards of the the e-books, and it's like the children cannot really do the online learning because there is no structure. Why do that? If something is not broken, why try to change it? Work with it.
And I think sometimes we as St. Lucians, sometimes we have too much pride.
Yes.
And rather than accept the fact that things are not working and we need to go back to what we knew, or we need to tweak it here, tweak it there, we have difficulty doing that, and we have difficulty saying well done. When somebody has done well in our society, St. Lucians have difficulty saying well done, and we need to be able to say that. And I think
you are so right about that.
Instead of saying well done to Alan Chastney on these on some of the things that he has done, all you get is criticism and trying to erase his name. You understand?
Very
the
true.
Pages of our history.
Very
the
true.
archive is there, and it will hold for a long time.
Exactly. And imagine what you said, Dr. Rosemary Bell Antoine, that's Kennedy Anthony's wife. She wrote something that Caribbean people need to claim their achievements. And it's like they're afraid to claim their achievement, because when you claim your achievement, people start throwing words, they're jealous, you get a lot of enemies. For instance, me, I am doing this. And then, under the government of Saint Lucia, the sitting yesterday, somebody come and say, I am boasting myself, I'm this. I say, if I don't praise myself, if I don't talk about myself, who is going to talk about me? And Dr. Rosemary Bell Antoine is very right. People must realize, speak about yourself. Do not feel belittled. And we have a lot of that going on here. The mentality. So this is why we were not able to say, Alan Chastney, good job. We were not able to do that. So people need to come out from this. Now, I'm going to give you the final words before I end, what you want to say, in closing.
It's time to end already. Okay.
Yes.
I just want to say, so great job. I think I was in on your first, from your very first program. I've seen the program evolve beautifully.
Thank you.
I really like what I'm seeing. I know you're providing great information, great insight to people. They may not necessarily agree with everything you say, but at least you can enlighten them and they can see what is happening. from, of course, my party standpoint, we are doing the work that is required.
Required.
We have our teams on the ground working to provide information to us. And of course, we just hope that people can be honest to accept what it is they get. You understand, when the results of that come in.
Yes.
I'm only in there for a short term to help. And of course, I'm quite prepared to do that, you know, to assist the party in ensuring that it gets on the right footing so we can win the next election with peace.
Yes. And I think we are going to win this next election. And I also believe that election will be called before the 5 years. And I'm not telling you that because I do not want to see this government last for 5 years, but there is too much tension on the ground.
Yeah. Yes.
But it was a pleasure having you. It was my first guest and it was just so awesome. Thank you so much. And that's not your last, you know. That's not your last. You know? That is
well, I look forward to coming back at some point. But I really enjoyed it, and I hope other people can come through and take advantage of this wonderful opportunity chatting with you.
Yes, they will. They can call me. They can call me. And thank you so much. Now, my viewers, it is 10 o'clock. Thanks for all the coffees. I love you all. Have an awesome evening. We're gonna be, I may, for my Adventist viewers, you know, they're a little vexed with me. For my Adventist viewers, I may put the show on Saturday just to appease y'all. So I'll let y'all know my decision by tomorrow. But I love y'all. Have a blessed night. Good night. Bye.